Oh no, it's the song again that gets me copyright claimed. No, but I'm not really complaining. It doesn't do anything to my channel and it's a beautiful song. So on the 10th twilight, the journey ends and you reach the Golden Land. You really are diligent, Maria. You did a good job writing this all down. I forget a lot, so I always write things down. Mama told me to. There was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down this beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my sense of adventure. Let's start with the first line. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. Where was grandfather's hometown again? I heard that before the war, the Ushidomiya family had a mansion near Odawara, which makes you want to know which Sweetfish River flows through Odawara, right? Yeah, because that river would be the starting place. Anyone searching for the Golden Land would head down that and search for the key. What's this river in Odawara? Does it have sweetfish swimming in it? If you're looking for sweetfish in Odawara, it'll have to be Hayakawa. It's famous for its mountain stream fishing. I hate fish. What? No, fish are delicious. Shut up. Maria, you'll understand when you get a bit older. Lick, lick, lick salty roasted sweetfish. Yummy. Even though, what? Even though we just ate, I'm getting hungry again. Shall I bring you a biscuit? Huh? Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. Don't mind it. Shannon-chan was faithfully keeping us company since she didn't have any afternoon course for a while. I would have thought that since she's a servant accompanying us, it would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on a conversation with people close to her age. Well, yeah, makes sense. When I asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull. How old is she again? Was that even written here? Forgot. No, it's not. Okay. Oh, maybe I should also save. You know, you never know. Computer could always crash. Okay. Okay, so I get that the sweetfish-filled river near Odawara is Hayakawa. And that, what kind of name is that? Just fast river? In that case, we've got to go down it. Do you find anything if you head down Hayakawa River? If you follow it downstream, you'll arrive at the ocean. Do I have got the riddle in tips yet? What, so the riddle is actually in the tips? It is! Huh, so I guess that's gonna be important. I mean, yeah, duh. No, the stupid epitaph we've been talking for over an hour about is not important at all. Behold this river. But that's interesting that they have it here. So it means we might actually have to look at it again when something comes up. Of course you'd reach the mouth of the river. Wait, what was the last time? Find anything if you don't dream, you'll arrive at the ocean. Of course you'd reach the mouth of the river. And the third line of the epitaph was as you travel down it, you will see a village. By the way, since long ago, the mouth of rivers have been key points in transportation, and large cities tend to be built there. That'd be the next checkpoint. That's a pretty good theory. Just like you guessed, there is an old city there that was very prosperous in ancient times. That's where Odawara Castle is. I think I might have gone to Odawara Castle on a field trip once. It really was a wonderful castle. Maybe we should just go there right now by airplane. Battler will be so thrilled. Yeah, I also went there. Even though I live in a Western-style house, it's true that Japanese people feel calmer with a Japanese layout. Castles are boring. What? Get out of here. First you don't like fish, now castles are boring. What's next? Theme parks are better. Yeah, you can go to the theme park alone then. I see, okay. If we find the gold, the Great Battler Summer will generously reserve a whole theme park for a day and let you play in it, okay? Still, Odawara Castle, huh? Madness, yeah. The hidden gold of Odawara Castle. It's actually starting to sound pretty good. Ha! Well, we figured out that much. 2 years ago, you idiot. The village down the river where the sweetfish swim in Odawara. Yeah, I would imagine anybody could come that far. We figured it was probably somewhere near Odawara Castle. The problem is the next line. Okay, let's see where Battler's strange reasoning can take him. Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to be implying that she would have solved the puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I will definitely find it and keep it all for myself. The fourth line, in that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. Two. Maybe there's like two statues and they point somewhere. Because I can't imagine the two being somebody who like is alive, because then the riddle would only be solvable as long as they are alive. Okay, I mean with statues you could say the riddle can only be solved as long as the statues are there, but still. Can't imagine it means two people. But what do I know? I don't know what it means by the two, but anyway, the shore. What does it mean by the shore? No, wait. Is there any place near there with shore or kishi in its name? I have heard there's a place called Sogakishi in Odawara. Huh? Wow, you sure know a lot about it. Huh, what could that mean? Shannon-chan, are you trying to solve the riddle and get the gold too? That makes us rivals. It's not like I'm interested in gold. Baka. It's just that George-sama told me about it before. It's not like I like you or anything. That's because we reached the same conclusions 2 years ago. We even went to the trouble of laying out a map and looking it up. It was about 5 kilometers to the north of Odawara. We definitely found a place called Sogakishi there. However, after that we get stuck. The fifth line doesn't say where the key is hidden in that place. Maria-chan, could you read it for us? Yeah, there sleeps the key to the Golden Land. Yeah, just don't let her read the part about bashing heads in and whatnot. Yeah, and like all the brutal stuff. I could read it. Sogakishi is probably large, and there was never any house built there by the Ushiromiya family. Not much we can do to find a key in such a vast area without any hints. You're right. And without the key, we can't advance to the next line. George Aniki, what kind of place is Sogakishi? Let's see. I've never been there, so I don't really know, but according to the map, it's in the mountains. I'm pretty sure it was at the base of Mount Asama. Something doesn't feel right. You'd expect a riddle pointing the way to hidden gold to be a bit more exact. I get the feeling that even the part about Sogakishi was a mistake. Well, I think it could be Sogakishi. It could be talking about some house that grandfather lived in when he was a kid that we don't know about. After all, the first line mentioned his beloved hometown. Shannon, you've served grandfather alcohol and stuff lots of times, right? Hasn't he ever talked to you about his past? The master almost never speaks of the past. However, he talks of the great Kanto earthquake as though it was someone else's story, and he never shuts up about Beatrice. So, he may have been living far away from the Kanto area. The Ushiromiya family may have been living in Odawara, but not all of the branch families were. Grandfather often called himself part of a branch family, the least connected to the successor. And that means the beloved hometown might not even be Odawara at all. I've never heard anything about grandfather's hometown, and I doubt he'd actually tell me if I asked. If the so-called beloved hometown isn't referring to the Ushiromiya family's roots, then the Odawara theory is wrong from the beginning. Of course, this doesn't completely remove the possibility that it was Sogakishi. For example, perhaps he lived in Odawara when he was very young, but then moved far away later. I don't understand what you're all talking about. Can we eat cookies? Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and she now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom. So basically, if we can't even agree on the starting point for this dice game of gold, we are totally stuck. But wait. After the first 5 lines, the thing we end up finding is a key, right? Even if you don't have a key, it's always possible to bust through a door. Can't we just skip the first 5 lines and start figuring out the rest? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh well, we're just wasting time anyway. Let's hear the rest of Battler's reasoning. But in the next part it gets dark really fast. Shannon-chan frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. It sure does get horrible quickly. On the second twilight, it says to tear apart the 2 who are close. Does that mean to make them break off their loving relationship? Or does it mean to literally tear them apart? I don't know, but either way, it's pretty disgusting. Even if we set that second line aside, it mentions 6 people for the first twilight, then 5 people for the fourth through 8 twilights. So at least 11 people must be sacrificed. Just checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's exactly 11 people, isn't it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so everybody's gonna die. Sorry.
Their sacrifices to revive Beatrice.
I see. Sacrifices to restore the witch. Yeah, that's what it'd mean. Near the end, the witch will be revived on the 9th twilight. The last part is guaranteed, and Zero would have put an E in here.
On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive and none shall be left alive. So everyone will die in the end.
And after that, the 10th twilight is the goal line. Not sure how you're supposed to reach the golden land if everyone's dead by then. Depending on how you interpret it, the traveler who holds the key may or may not be included in the none shall be left alive part. But at the end there's something pretty interesting. After reaching the goal, it said something about resurrection, didn't it? The witch gives out 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold. The problem is the next one. It says the dead souls will be resurrected, right? Doesn't that sound like it means everyone who died in the early alliance? Could be. But it says souls, not souls and bodies. Like maybe they just get resurrected as seagulls. I don't know.
If you put it like that, then the part about reviving lost love might refer to the pair torn apart on the 2nd twilight.
That's right. And the 4th one refers to the 9th twilight. The 4th treasure is putting the witch, revived on the 9th twilight, to sleep.
If we put a happy spin on all this, it'll be hectic with people dying and breaking up all over the place, but it'll all be made right in the end. The awakened witch will sleep again and everything will be like it was at the start, except with a huge pile of gold.
The witch must be pretty busy with all the killing, reviving, breaking up and reuniting people.
Not to mention waking up and sleeping.
Huh. Sheesh. Just when the tale of the hidden gold was getting interesting, it all gets pretty dubious once the witch starts showing up.
Too true.
I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry again.
Yeah, the witch is incredible. She can do anything with magic. Even kill. Even bring back to life. Even give love. Even take it. She can fly in the sky, can become invisible, can even make golden bread out of nothing.
Oh, dang. My bad. We were just joking. Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands and opening to some other pages, trying to prove that the witch existed. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and well conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches. It wasn't the normal sinister image of a crooked nose hag flying around on a broom, but a dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wore a beautiful dress. So, Beatrice. It was just what you'd expect from an imaginative young girl. Flitting through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a teacup in a teapot that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of it. With the flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that could give richness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want the dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches. Because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream. To Maria Chan, the epitaph isn't a guide to the hidden gold, but magic to revive the witch. So it was the single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George Aniki. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon-chan timidly opened her mouth.
Maria-sama, did you know? There's a...
Uh-oh.
there's a ghost story about Beatrice that has been passed down amongst the servants. Yeah, that's right. Shannon, tell us about it. I don't really know, but it's apparently pretty famous among the servants.
What is this? A ghost story?
Yes, it seems it's a story from before we were born. I also heard about it from my mother. Yes, it has been passed down since the time of the mansion's construction. The servants of that time whispered that the mansion had two masters, one of the day and one of the night. Man, I can't wait for night to come. The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants. When people do the rounds the second time to check doors, windows and locks that were supposedly closed, they find some of them left open. Oh shit. Can you imagine like doing rounds in the dark in like a huge mansion on an isolated island? That's gotta be really creepy. Especially if shit like that happens then. Lights that were supposed to be off were turned on, and lights that were supposed to be on went out. Things left lying around would disappear, and things would appear when no one had any memory of putting them there. When any of these things happened, the old servants would say that the witch had visited the mansion invisible and was playing pranks. Kinda want. Yeah, I mean, if I can teleport out of there at any moment. See, she exists. Beatrice exists. Yeah, she exists. Long ago, it was always right before leaving for school that I wasn't able to find my bag and stuff. Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh, as though this was final proof of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling, yeah, what I just said. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be eerie. In addition, some servants have also seen will-o'-the-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around. Kanon-kun also saw something like that when he went patrolling one night. And recently, you often hear servants talking about strange footsteps heard inside the mansion near midnight, and that's probably just Kinzo being mad again. We've whispered together that the Beatrice Summer in the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks through the mansion. It happened a while ago, but even I have heard footsteps while patrolling at night that resemble these stories.
Whew, that's scary.
But there's nothing to be afraid of. Beatrice Summer is another ruler of this mansion, separate from the master. So there's no need to be unnaturally afraid. If you respect her, I hear she won't do anything bad.
However, she can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right?
Correct. I've heard that just before I began working here, someone who spoke badly about Beatrice Summer fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury to their back. Because of that, there was a rumor between the servants that Beatrice Summer's anger had been brought down upon this person. Anger will definitely be brought down on Betla and Jessica.
Oh, no, don't, please. I'm sorry. I don't want her anger brought down upon me. I apologize, Maria. Of course, I also apologize to the witch. I'm sorry, Beatrice Summer. Please forgive an outsider's nonsense.
I'll apologize as well. I'm sorry, Beatrice Summer. Will the witch be able to forgive us now? Don't know. Witches are fickle, so they forgive when they want to and don't when they don't.
That's no good. Maria-chan, isn't there some kind of good luck charm that could prevent Butler-kun and Jessica-chan from suffering Beatrice Summer's wrath? Maybe something that can block against magic? By relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've gotta admire his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I had thought it was just a scribbled diary, but there also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they'd come from a book on black magic. Oh no! Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages, which contained things that looked like magic circles. Apparently grandfather wasn't the only one with a black magic hobby. When Maria finally found what she was looking for,
She snapped the notebook shut and threw it into her handbag. She then began fishing through that bag's contents. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to Maria, and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong. It was all a little humorous, just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me. I grabbed it and saw that it was a very cheap-looking charm. Censored, yeah, censored Doraemon. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary with a scorpion-themed medal attached. Haven't you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessories? The kind you might win in a crane game at an arcade. It really looked like something like that. There were 2 of them, probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were 2 of them made them feel even more like cheap manufactured goods, making it pretty hard to think of them as magical items.
You're giving these to me and Bettler?
With these charms, you don't even need to worry about Beatrice, because scorpions have the power to ward off magic.
Really? Didn't know scorpions could do that.
Bettler doesn't believe.
I mean, he just shouldn't open his mouth at all. I said too much and angered Maria again. Maria took out her notebook again, pointing out various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such incredible holy power that it had been used in magic-repelling magical circles since ancient times.
I've heard about that from some of the other young servants. Something about how the scorpion is drawn as a magic-repelling symbol in sorcery.
I never heard of that, but okay. Then again, I don't read about black magic, so what do I know?
Really? The scorpion protects against bad magic and calamity, and emerald brings peace to the heart. Therefore, its effects are twofold. Yeah.
It's true. The scorpion wraps around the emerald and protects it. Yes, that certainly does sound like it'd work well. I really wanted to make fun of those worthless-looking charms, but as I watched Maria explaining with all of her heart and realized that she'd found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a prize from some game center. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Even I don't think of myself as the sort of loser who would laugh at something like that. Okay, thank you. I apologize to Beatrice Summer, but even if I do end up getting cursed, I'll be safe now thanks to Maria's charm. Right, Jessica?
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Maria. Yeah, wear it on your arm when you want your heart to be at peace. Put it in your wallet and your money won't decrease.
And now she starts rhyming.
If you hang it from a doorknob, bad things can't get in. It's a really convenient charm. What an incredible effect. If Maria Summer gives it her confident seal of approval, then it surely must be reliable.
Shannon-chan clapped her hands together and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer, if it'll keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold, probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Typical conversation you have with a child. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Each time George, Aniki and Shannon-chan would act surprised to chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after a year of separation. Did I just feel a drop on my forehead? It's a drop of blood. Huh? I wonder. As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger.
I didn't feel a drop. Yeah, I didn't.
Don't worry, neither did I. Anyway, I'm sure it'll rain so much tonight that everyone will get to feel plenty of raindrops. That's right. Maybe we should head back soon. Shannon-chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now. Uh-oh.
Is it already time for you to return to your work? Yes. Thank you very much for allowing me to enjoy some time together with you all.
Tell Kumasawa-san thanks for the cookies. Okay, everyone, help out with the cleanup. Shannon-chan declined our help, saying that this was a servant's job, but picking up dropped forks before the waitress has to is pretty much my purpose in life. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
The trash is getting away. Yeah.
I won't let it escape. I'll grab it before Maria does.
Yeah, I'll grab it. Yeah.
Maria, don't get your shoes wet. You'll get in trouble. To Maria, chasing after some trash sent flying by the powerful winds was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
You've all helped me out a lot. Thank you very much.
It looks like you're really out of time. It's okay if you head back first. George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left.
Genji-san's very strict about time. If you don't show up where you're supposed to be at the right time, I bet he'll be pissed.
Well, see you later. Do your best with your work.
Yes. Then if you would excuse me.
After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan ran towards the rose garden. Okay, let's head back to the guest house. We can watch TV or something and relax a little. We still have to play Mortal Kombat.
Wanna watch TV? Wanna watch TV? Then it's decided. Let's all head back and watch TV together.
Do they even have like a reception here? I guess they should. If Klaus wants to turn it into a resort, would be kind of stupid if they didn't even have TV. Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. The wind had grown very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. I'll bet tonight's typhoon ruins them. These roses might be done in by tonight's winds.
You're right. Still, I think the roses were pretty lucky. After all, they got to welcome all of you before the typhoon.
All flowers lose their petals eventually, but that means we can admire them even more when they're in bloom. That's right. Maria, burn this image into your eyes. At this moment, they're the best roses of the year.
Burned into eyes.
Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she'd remembered something.
My rose! The typhoon will send it flying. Yeah.
Well, then take it with you. Oh, you mean that sad-looking rose George Aniki marked with a ribbon? Maria apparently remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
Where was that again? I'm sure it was somewhere around here.
We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all of these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. Isn't that weird? The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find. Maybe it wasn't here. Let's try spreading out a bit in our search. Sounds good. Let's go for strength in numbers. What's up, Maria? As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot. What is it? What's wrong?
My rose is here. It's here.
But it's actually not, Ryan. Maybe it was on the other side of the flower bed. If we all look, we'll find it fast, okay?
No, it's here. My rose is here. Look for it. Look for it.
Good Lord. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at the Sorry. She pointed at that spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through that rose thicket.
Not here. Not here. Not here.
Maybe she's saying that it should be here, but isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated. Oh man, Maria is really losing her temper. Sometimes Maria starts to really care about really pointless stuff. If she gets what she wants, that's okay, but You can't find something that isn't there. That's not good. Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice.
Mama!
We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest's house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
My, what happened, everyone? Are you looking for something?
Look for it. Mama, you look for my rose too.
Your rose?
We found an unhealthy rose around here and marked it. We tied a candy wrapper around it, but Maria, if I remember correctly, it was growing right in front and really stood out, didn't it? Unless it grew legs and ran off somewhere, it must have been somewhere else. Maybe you remembered it wrong.
No, it is here. It is here. Peddler doesn't believe. No.
How many times do I have to tell you to stop saying no before you'll understand? Mama will look for it, so stay quiet.
I'd never seen Aunt Rosa be anything other than kind and gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. Aunt Rosa began searching as well. So we went along with her for the time being, but we were already more than sure that it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too.
The rose isn't here. Did you mistake this place for somewhere else? There are so many roses around.
That's wrong. It is here. Mama doesn't believe.
I already believed you and looked hard for it, didn't I? But it isn't here.
But it is here. It is here, but it isn't.
Then someone must have ripped it out. Anyway, stop saying
Who ripped out my rose? Who did? Give it back. Give it back.
How should I know? Stop it. Stop saying
Oh no. Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder.
My rose.
Didn't I tell you to stop that weird habit? That's why all the kids in your class make fun of you. Cut it out.
Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. This time she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up. Aunt Rosa, no, she's just a little kid, so there's no reason to get so serious. I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together. But Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face, and I realized that I should have stayed out of this.
I'm sorry, but could the rest of you go back to your room for a bit? I need to have a little talk with Maria.
Wie sah die eigentlich nochmal im Original aus? Oh Gott, okay.
Nobody believes in my rose, even though it was here. Look for it. Look for it. Here it was here. Ooh.
But it's not here, so you must have confused the space for somewhere else, right?
Ooh, it is here. It's definitely here.
Then it disappeared. Give it up.
Why? Why did it disappear? Why? Ooh.
I don't know that, so stop saying ooh.
Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. It was strong enough to knock Maria over. Hey, Aunt Rosa, even if she is your daughter, violence isn't the answer. I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground, crying ooh. I knew that, as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business, but I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this.
Don't you think it's weird, Betla-kun? Are there any girls at your school who mutter ooh?
Well, I'm in high school, but for an elementary schooler, I think saying ooh is pretty cute.
Cute? Saying that is cute. Cute.
My careless words seemed to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression.
Don't say such nonsense. Do you know how old Maria is? She's 9. She's a 4th grader, not a kindergartner. But she still makes that sound during class. Don't you get it? Do you know what they say about this kid when they bully her? Thanks to this weird habit, she still hasn't made a single friend. Don't turn your eyes from reality and carelessly call Maria cute.
think more seriously about this kid's future.
Yeah, great. Now she's saying it even more.
I told you stop making that sound. Didn't I tell you to stop it?
You may want to take some parenting classes, cause that's not how that's gonna work, I would say. Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was rising. I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George Aniki. A long time ago, Aunt Rosa also thought of it as nothing more than one of Maria Chan's baby words. But now that it hasn't been fixed even midway through elementary school, she's been worrying about it a lot. How she talks isn't really that big of a deal, right? She'll never make it as an adult if she's like that. So even though it isn't fun to watch, this is a problem between parent and child.
Well, even I get chewed out by Mom all the time because of how I talk.
When they put it that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should butt in on. Butler-kun, when you were a kid, did you have any bad habits that you couldn't fix and that got you into trouble? Well, one or two. On Parents' Day once, I kept getting yelled at in front of everyone and it was embarrassing as all hell. Well then, you can understand how the two of them must feel right now. I'm sure they don't want us to be here now. You understand too, don't you, Jessica-chan?
I don't think anyone likes to be seen when they're being scolded.
Let's go. We'll return to the guest house. Then after Maria-chan comes back, let's welcome her as if nothing happened. That's probably for the best, isn't it? We thought George Aniki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable-sounding argument as a justification to retreat from this heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George Aniki, and we all left. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house, but she didn't seem to hear, and we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it.
In that case, look by yourself as much as you want. Mama doesn't care. No, I'll look for it. I'll look for it by myself, even if Mama doesn't care. No.
Have it your way. After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but that wasn't Rosa's intention. It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while a raindrop would fall on her forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place, not until she found that poor wilting rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically. Maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. Oh no, it's raining. I should turn off the light because it's getting dark. So immersion. Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. That's what you do when you can't find your phone. I just frantically run around every room 10 times and eventually find it somewhere I probably already looked 10 times as well. It also doesn't help that I usually have my phone on silent all the time. Except, like, sometimes I forget to put it on silent, and then that's usually when Aiden is sleeping and then somebody writes me. Unlucky things like that, but usually I have my phone on silent, so when I don't find it, I just have to search. I think most of the times it's actually Sabine who eventually stumbles upon it again. Anyway, Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence. It makes humans remember that in the end they are alone from the moment they are born to the moment they die. Oh,
You're late, Beatrice.
were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze.
Well then, let us begin. Let us begin our banquet of miracles. This island has now been cut off from the world.
Oh, has it? How? What do you mean by that? Doesn't sound good.
Now there are none who can interrupt my ceremony. There are many fitting sacrifices for you. 4 of my children, 3 of their companions, 4 of my
Oh no, come on, man, leave them out of it.
4 of my grandchildren, me and my guests, and my servants.
Oh, I know this music. I've heard this on YouTube by accident, but in a different version.
You may devour as many as you please. The key of fate will select the sacrifices in accordance with the demon's roulette. If that roulette chooses me, even I will become your sacrifice. However, because I will bet on such madness, I will most assuredly bring forth a grand miracle. Come, devour to your heart's content. I will achieve victory over that roulette. Yes, I'll put everything on the line. First, I'll return the inheritance of the Ushinomiya family.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring out of his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring. What do you mean, illusion?
And when you are resurrected, surely I will be the one who stands witness. I will survive until the end and watch over you as you awaken. So come, Beatrice, welcome to my banquet. In exchange for all that I have created, show me another miracle just this once. Oh, Beatrice.
Uh-oh. $6 now, huh?